I've struggled with anxiety and depression for like 12 or 13 years, something like that. And for me, anxiety is always on the cusp. I have to constantly keep it in check. And I've learned a lot of techniques, specifically from someone named Lucinda Bassett, who runs this program that essentially tackles anxiety with logic and knowledge. And, knowledge is power. And very specifically, when it comes to anxiety, knowledge is power. Understanding why it's happening, and it exposes everything. And when you expose that stuff to the light, and it's not, just some mysterious, enigmatic thing hiding in the shadows, when you can understand it, it's not as scary anymore. It can still be scary, but I never get out of control anymore. I don't have insane panic attacks. I have anxiety, and I have days where if I didn't have control of it, I would have a really bad day that day. But I do have control of it now. And depression is nothing like anxiety. They are completely separate. And yet, at the same time, they're like this spiral that they feed each other. So having control of my anxiety has definitely decreased my depression tenfold. But the depression just sneaks in. Anyone who struggles with depression knows that there's, for the most part, no real trigger for it. It just pops up. It says, hey, like a terrible neighbor that has no concept of privacy and is also super obnoxious. But depression can rear its ugly head at any time, and it can be extremely detrimental to social situations. Near the end of my high school career, I started picking up habits, I guess, that were based in weird anxieties that had really no bearing on the conversation, and no one really cared about these things. But I would get like a hyper awareness of my face when I was talking to people. So when I would smile, I became like really aware of my smile and what it looked like and how it was being perceived. When I would smile at people, I'd have this moment of like my lip would curl because I'm thinking about my smile too much, and then that made me more nervous. And so now I'm not even listening to what the person's saying. I'm just focusing on making sure that I have an authentic smile. When if I just listened to what they were actually saying, I would have an authentic smile. So it turned into this thing where it's like just this struggle to keep this smile. That was all I could think about, and I started getting so scared to talk to people that I just stopped talking to people altogether. I stopped going out. I stopped making any effort to have conversations with people because I was so scared that they would say something that warranted a smile or, like a pity laugh. Maybe I'll just be stoic for a while and just, straight-faced. But I love to laugh. I love to smile. I love to laugh, and it makes no sense to withhold that. And so, like I said earlier, I figured out, and hopefully this helps other people, because I've had conversations with several people where I thought I was the only person who experienced this kind of hypersensitivity to your own image, especially in the face, because this is like what percentage of our communication is done in our face, not even in things that we say, but in our language in the face. What I figured out was shut up and listen to what people have to say. I still struggle with this. It's really difficult because I want my opinion to be heard. That's a really strong part of my personality, is wanting my opinion to be heard and to be validated and to be understood. When I'm saying something and it's confusing people and they can't really get it, and especially when they're coming back with arguments that have nothing to do with what I just said, really, really frustrates me. I just really, really want to be understood and heard. So it's really hard for me to shut up and just listen to people and not always feel the need to reply. But when I started practicing it regularly, looking people in the eye as often as possible, consciously listening as hard as you possibly can to empathize and to understand with what the person is saying, don't feel the need to fill the space, to fill any awkward silence, because silence in and of itself is not awkward. Awkward silence comes from your body language, from you, and from the other person in the conversation. So if you're just very intent on listening to what they're saying, then you won't be focused on yourself, which is the whole problem in the first place, that you're caring more about what you look like and what you're saying and what you're thinking than anyone else is, and that's pointless. And this is not an easy thing to do. I'm not telling you you're going to go out today and just be confident, look people in the eye, listen to what they're saying, never feel the need to reply or fill the empty silence. But I am telling you that you can become better at it, that you can practice it, and you can change yourself for the better. And social anxiety doesn't have to cripple you. And especially if you're in a group of people, don't feel like your silence is bothering other people, because it's not. Especially if you're genuinely listening to the conversations that are going around. You can learn a lot and pick up a lot from what people are saying. That being said, if you disagree with something somebody says, don't feel the need to get heated about it. It's okay to get upset. I'm not telling you to not get upset, but the way that you respond is everything. And so, if somebody is saying something that you don't agree with, just let them know. It's a simple thing. Just focus on the other person. Listen to what they're saying. Because if you're in a constant state of trying to diffuse your own anxiety, that's actually fueling your own anxiety. So it's backfiring big time. You just need to focus on the other person as much as you possibly can. And once you practice it, you'll develop a habit of doing that. And it'll just eventually just be natural to listen and to respond. I think that's it for me, guys. See you later.